Today, guys, I'm going to be boiling down stopping drinking into just 10 core principles. And very quickly, guys, just before we get into the video, if you want my help stopping drinking and you want to learn more about Sober Clear and the Sober Clear program and how we work with people, there's a short video for you to watch in the description, and then you'll be able to book a short call to see if the Sober Clear program is something that may work for you. So, principle number 1, it all comes down to first principles thinking. So, first principles thinking has been spoken about in many books by big business people, it's been spoken about by Aristotle, and many great minds use this mental model to solve complex problems. And that may mean solving problems in physics, solving problems in business, building rockets. And we can apply the same style of thinking to alcohol. What we can do is we can use the first principles thinking to logically look at the alcohol issue and start to build this new paradigm, this new worldview, and come to the conclusion really that alcohol does absolutely nothing for you. So for the rest of the video and the next 9 points, I actually want to use first principles thinking and show you how it works in action. So the second principle is to understand that you are not the problem. Now this may sound a little bit strange and a little bit hard to grasp, because if you've done the traditional way of stopping drinking, you've probably been told that you are the problem. That maybe you've got a personality issue, maybe you've got an addictive personality, maybe you're an alcoholic, maybe there's some trauma. Basically, the drug isn't the issue, you are the issue. That's why you can't be a normal drinker. That's why you can't hold things together whilst drinking. That's why you can't step up the way that you want in your business, in your relationships, with your family, in your health. You can't step up in these ways and you can't live a normal life without alcohol because you are the problem. Now, is this really the case? Are you really the problem? I say no. I say absolutely not. I say there's not a chance in hell that you are the problem. And the reason why is because the nature of a drug, the nature of any drug, is that you consume the drug and you consume it again and again and again and again. That's not the nature of the individual. Yet alcohol seems to be the only drug that you become the problem if you drink too much of it. Why that's the case might be a topic for another video, but it's the only drug that you become the problem and you get these labels and you need to hold these labels for the rest of your life. You give up smoking, you're not the problem for the rest of your life. You got addicted to a drug, you remove the drug, finished. You get addicted to gambling, you remove gambling, you get on with your life, you're not the problem. Yet we're made to believe that with alcohol, it's somehow different. Somehow out of all the drugs in the world, the only one that you are somehow the problem if you can't consume it like a normal person is alcohol. And I want you to understand that you are not the problem. The drug is the problem. You remove the drug, the problems start to go away. Now the third principle for complete alcohol control is understanding that the life of your dreams becomes possible again. Now this may sound a little bit hard to believe at this point in time because you might not be at a point where you've stopped drinking. You might be at a dark place right now. You know, I've been in those dark places where I just couldn't see hope. I just couldn't see a clear path to getting out of the pit. And when you're in that pit, nothing seems possible. It doesn't seem possible that you're gonna get through the next week. How are you gonna, I've been in a dark place before and I know what it's like. But something that you got to understand is that when you remove alcohol, there's no backwards progress anymore. There's one step, then another step, and another step, and another step. And you can start to dream again, and you can start to see a vision, and you can start to go towards what you really, really want. And I really want you to understand that when you stop drinking, the life of your dreams becomes possible again. And you should be excited about that. When you just get rid of the drink and you just can go forward and move forward, I mean, great things can start happening, and they really, really can. The next thing I want to touch on, guys, is that you get a new level of confidence and courage. Now, I've made a bit more of an in-depth video talking about how alcohol does absolutely nothing to give you courage, and if you click up here right now, you'll be able to get onto that video. But the point is that alcohol does not give you courage. It does not give you confidence. It can't. It's an external thing. It does nothing to help you feel good about yourself. Maybe for a tiny brief moment of time, the inhibitions are lowered and you kind of act in this way that you think is being confident. But it isn't core confidence. It isn't real confidence. It's an illusion. And when you remove alcohol, that natural confidence comes back. The natural courage comes back. The real you can shine. And you may be at a point where you've drank for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years plus. And you're kind of used to putting this version of you out there. Putting this version of you out there that drinks, that goes to the events, that socializes with a glass in their hand. But when you remove that, the real confidence comes back. The real courage comes back. You can still socialize. You can still do these things. But you're doing it from the core. You're doing it from the real you. Listen, that is just so damn exciting. I had to share that with you. Now, the fifth principle that I want you to wrap your head around is that there really is nothing to give up. I held on to this idea for such a long time that every time that I stopped drinking, I was removing something. I was making this sacrifice. I was getting rid of something that did something good for me. And once you've built the paradigm where you see alcohol for what it is, once you've read the books, done the courses, done the programs, whatever, and you just see things and you see them in a different way, you realize that there really is nothing to give up. There is no sacrifice. There is nothing to remove. There's nothing to get rid of. It's just literally an exchange. You exchange alcohol for a life of freedom, a life of pleasure, a life of joy, a life of moving forward, a life of doing what you really want. And that truly means that there is nothing to give up. There's just so much to gain. Because giving something up means that there's actually something to remove. When really, alcohol does nothing for you, so there's really nothing to remove. You can just go towards that great quality of life. So the next principle that I want you to understand is that there is not a single benefit to consuming alcohol. At all. Not one. Nil. Nada. Nilch. Zero. Consuming a poison does nothing for you. Just, there is not a benefit to it. Despite what you sometimes see in the media, on the BBC, on whatever, on the news channels, you know, that 1 in 100 studies that somehow rises to the top and says wine drinkers live 3 years longer, right? They don't publish the 100 studies before that showing the sperm count reductions and the mortality rates, and you don't see those. They don't come to the top of the BBC, but the 1 in 100 studies just somehow seems to creep up to the top. Listen, there is no benefit to drinking alcohol. It does nothing for you. It never has. It never will. It can't. And that is a principle that you've got to wrap your head around. And the way that you do it is, like I said, using that first principles thinking, building the paradigm, building the awareness that there is no benefit to drinking it. And if you do want my help going deeper with this, there's a video to watch in the description. Like I said, you'll be able to book a call, see if the Sober Clear program is a good idea for you. The next principle to understand is that the act of drinking is not fun in any way. A lot of people buy into this idea that drinking is fun. Yet the actual act of drinking, that is not fun. There is nothing fun about doing this, right? How is that fun? And what we start to realize is that a lot of the times where we associate alcohol with a good time, associate alcohol with having fun, is if we really rack our heads and we really look back, we start to see that all of these events, all of these occasions, alcohol wasn't causing any kind of good time. In fact, a lot of the time, alcohol starts messing these occasions up. If you think about the weddings, the barbecues, where the arguments break off, this kind of stuff, alcohol didn't really cause the good time. What caused the good time was the people that you were with, the energy of the event. And the drinking of alcohol, it can't be fun. It's impossible because the act of drinking is boring. And a lot of the times, it's the activity that you do that's enjoyable. It's the company that you're with. It's the people that you're with. So if you're not drinking, you still have a good time. You still have fun. But there is nothing fun about drinking. Really, it's a drug. And the reason why we drink it is because we think that there's something good about it, combined with the fact that it's a drug addiction. Combined with the fact that there's this very subtle drug addiction that most people don't even realize a thing. Which leads me into the next point. And the main reason why people drink is because of the conditioning. And I made a really in-depth video talking about this before. If you click up here now, you'll be able to go and watch that video after this one. And it's also a big part of the Sober Clear program. And it's looking at the idea that society has that alcohol is a good thing. And where does this idea come from? Why do we hold this collective belief that causes so much destruction? Well, if we look back at other collective beliefs that we've held as society, you know, the earth was flat. At one point, that was a normal thing to believe in. You know, the Aztecs, they used to chop people's heads off and roll it down those pyramids, and that was normal. That would keep the sun going across the sky. There have been many beliefs that we have bought into that have just now been proven to be completely false. And I'm sorry, but alcohol is one of those beliefs. But that is really the only reason why so many people drink. They've bought into the idea that there's a good thing to get from drinking. Which leads me into the next point of the craving. And again, I've already made an in-depth video talking about the craving. You can click up here and get access to that video. But the point of the craving is that most people suffer with a craving without even realizing what one is. And what it is this imperceptible, almost imperceptible feeling of discomfort, of not feeling quite right. And it's drinking to remove that feeling. And there are so many people that get to 80 years of age and look back at their life and every single day they've drank and they never realized that they were actually addicted. They always said to themselves, dude, I'm fine, I can take it or leave it, I'm in control. And I hear a lot of people that say that they can take it or leave it, yet they drink every single day, right? They'll have a few drinks every single day. But like I said, check that video out up here. I mean, this actual video got featured in Men's Health. It was in there on the Men's Health website. It got published. It was on the front page, all that good stuff. So make sure to check that one out if you want some more details on the craving. And really, guys, this leads me to the 10th principle. And the only real answer is to build that paradigm, to build that understanding that alcohol does nothing for you. And you really need to start seeing this truth for what it is. And you need to start seeing alcohol for what it is. And guys, like I said, if you do want my help using that first principles mental model, building that paradigm, click the link in the description and you'll be able to book a short call. Thanks a lot.